we had a flat.
You guys gonna be good?
Yeah.
In here?
Yeah, we got it.
Did you find something?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. It's no problem.
Thank you, brother. Steady. It's all right. Oh, it's all right. Thank you, right?
Yeah.
Oh yes, on the white velvet flat, he should be in a red Pontiac under the bridge, has a loud motor.
Hey, bud. Come back here for a second.
What is that?
I'll be out with the green Kia Spectra. Golf 7639 uniform. It's going to be the ramp from 40 West to West Coast area.
What is it?
Hey,
Hey, we cannot go on running! Get him! Get the fuck this! No, don't! Yeah, do it. Up! Let me take you. Yeah! Oh, fuck! I said, stop! Can anyone? Shots fired, suspect down, I'm Code J. Get on the ground, right now!
You Code J.
82 Delta, I'm Code J. We got one behind the vehicle right here. He's on the ground, someone needs to cover him up. 82 Delta, I'm Code J. So look down. Cuff him up!
Graphic dashcam, cop shoots fleeing, unarmed man in back, fires again after he falls. The encounter occurred 3 years ago, when a Knoxville police officer confronted a man who was changing a flat tire on the side of the road and then proceeded to shoot and kill him after a brief confrontation. 3 years after a Knoxville police officer shot an unarmed man in the back 6 times and killed him, an appellate court has determined that the officer is not eligible for qualified immunity in the $3 million civil rights lawsuit he is facing. The incident occurred during a stop on the side of the road when Officer David Gerlach encountered Ronald E. Carden, a 45-year-old man who was recently released on parole. It ended with Gerlach shooting Carden multiple times in the back, and then proceeding to shoot him as he was falling to the ground. The horrific incident now serves to illustrate that not only did police lie about what happened, they covered it up, and refused to bring charges against an officer who should have likely been charged with homicide. Carden's son, Brandon, is suing Gerlach and the Knoxville Police Department for $3 million in a federal civil rights lawsuit. He recently won a small victory in court when an appellate judge refused to grant qualified immunity to Gerlach. The court ruled that not only did case law not sustain that the shooting was justified, but they denied Gerlach's claim of immunity from prosecution. The court wrote, "Because it was clearly established at the time of the shooting that the police may not fire on a fleeing suspect who does not pose a threat of serious physical harm, the denial of qualified immunity was proper." In other words, while police officers are normally protected from prosecution because of qualified immunity statutes, when a suspect is running away, a police officer may not shoot and kill such a person. One might be tempted to believe such a conclusion would fall in the realm of common sense, but not when it comes to police, as the Free Thought Project has reported. Read more. Nearly 100 people killed by police in first month of 2015. 0 officers killed by suspects. The incident occurred along the side of Knoxville's Interstate 40 at about 3 a.m. on July 27, 2014, when the car Carden was driving got a flat tire. From Gerlach's dashcam footage, 2 men, Carden and a friend, can be seen attempting to change the flat tire on the car. Some police officers may have attempted to help the 2 men, but Gerlach ran Carden's plates, which reportedly came back registered to a different vehicle. Advertisement. Thinking the car might be stolen, Gerlach began questioning Carden. As soon as Gerlach reached for Carden's arm, Carden punched him and began running away, out of camera view. A taser can be heard as having been deployed, and then 6 shots were fired. Gerlach radioed shots fired and backup officers arrived, and Carden's friend, who had stayed out of the encounter, even as he watched the shooting, was placed in handcuffs. The story that followed was anything but the truth. KPD spokesman Darrell Debusk reportedly described such a violent struggle for Gerlach's gun that the holster broke under the force. Officer Gerlach was able to retain enough control of the gun to fire more than 1 shot, Debusk said. What Debusk failed to mention, which the autopsy confirmed, was that Gerlach shot Carden in the back 6 times, with 5 bullets being fired from a distance of more than 3 feet. Not only was Carden fleeing, but Gerlach shot him after he had fallen to the ground, according to the autopsy report. Carden's son filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Gerlach, and the KPD for its officers' use of deadly force against his father. Gerlach's attorneys contended he should be given immunity from prosecution on the basis that he was acting within his official duties as a police officer at the time of the shooting. The judge overseeing the case completely disagreed. Read more. 283 people have already been killed by police this year, setting record pace. Proof Gerlach shot both a fleeing man, and killed a wounded man comes from the pen of the judge overseeing the appeal. The Knoxville News-Sentinel reported that 6th District U.S. Court of Appeals Judge Tom Varlin cited the autopsy report as well as evidence presented by Carden's attorneys. Varlin wrote, "Carden started to flee, and made it about 1 step, when Gerlach began shooting at Carden. Gerlach fired approximately 2 to 3 shots at Carden, while Gerlach was still lying on the ground. He then stood up and fired 3 more shots down at Carden. Approximately 35 seconds elapsed from the moment Carden struck Gerlach to the moment Gerlach fired his final round. The Sentinel also noted that while the dashcam footage showed Carden wearing jeans and a buttoned-up shirt when he ran from Gerlach, his body arrived at the morgue shirtless and in handcuffs. The shirt was not turned over until 3 weeks after the shooting, and it was still buttoned but turned inside out, with no evidence Carden was wearing the shirt when he was struck by bullets. For those who might assume that Gerlach had probable cause to shoot Carden, the court opined. Even if Gerlach had probable cause to fear for his safety during his struggle with Carden, a jury could find he lacked the same cause after the struggle had ended and Carden, still unarmed, had turned and begun to flee. Police officers and departments everywhere should take notice that it is still unlawful to shoot at fleeing suspects who pose no serious threat to police. Read more. U.S. cops killed 230 times more people than their British counterparts in 2016. According to a report from the Knoxville Mercury, which conducted an extensive review of the disciplinary procedures inside the KPD, the problem is systemic. Although more than 100 officers have been flagged in the 14 years since an early intervention system was instituted to nip problem behaviors in the bud, only one of those officers has actually been enrolled in the correctional part of the program. In all other cases, supervisors decided the officer's activities weren't a problem. Equally disturbing is the fact that the police department investigates itself when officers are accused of serious infractions. The Mercury examined the personnel files of more than 20 officers who have either recently been the subject of lawsuits related to use of force, had repeated misbehavior problems or high-profile errors, or who have been flagged for recurring problems by the department itself. In these officers' cases, reprimands, counseling forms, and even suspensions often appear to have had little to no effect on officers' annual reviews, pay raises, or promotions. The department itself investigates potential criminal allegations against its officers, even in cases that involve deadly use of force or shooting deaths. Had there been an independent review board, operating outside of the influence of the police department, and an effective discipline program at work within the KPD, then maybe this shooting could have been prevented. As Carden's son moves forward in his civil rights lawsuit, it is important to remember that even if he does win the $3 million he is pursuing, Tennessee taxpayers will be the ones footing the bill, not the killer cop.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.